Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Edmund Ironside, and today we get to hear from everybody's favorite awful king who you didn't know of until you heard this play existed, Canutus in Act 2, Scene 3. Now, I realized after I made yesterday's video that I should have put a content warning on it that there was going to be physical violence and gore, and that's going to be present in today's video too, so if that's disturbing, I totally understand if you want to tune out for this one. That said, remember, Canutus is the Danish guy who thinks that he's supposed to be king, and he married the Earl of Southampton's daughter very quickly, or proposed to her very quickly after meeting her, even though she may be technically too young to be getting married at this point. And we've learned that he's not the nicest person in the world. Yesterday's monologue, he was talking about why he prefers to mutilate the sons of Leofric and Turkillus, who deserted him to go help Edmund Ironside, as opposed to just killing them. And it's because the humiliation is going to be so great that that's a much more fitting punishment for traitors, for them to lose their hands and nose, because then also other people walking down the street, if they see somebody walking down the street with no hands and no nose, then they know, oh, that person was a traitor. So it's a very visual way to humiliate them for the rest of their lives, as opposed to just being merciful and killing them quickly, is what he was getting at yesterday. Meanwhile, Edmund Ironside, when Turkillus and Leofric showed up, was like, yes, please join my side. Welcome home, friends. So we've got that difference going on. And we also have Edricus, who's happy to play for either side as long as he's on the side that's going to win. So after yesterday's monologue, they bring in the two boys who are just named first hostage and second hostage. They don't even have names, but they're brought in, and Canutus is like, welcome, your dads are traitors, so we're gonna cut off your hands and your noses. And the first hostage is like, please just kill me instead. Just kill us, do us that mercy, or maybe let us try to win our freedom on the battlefield, something along those lines. Like, please don't mutilate us, just kill us right out. And Canutus responds saying, look how cold water cast on burning coals doth make the fire more fervently to flame. Even so your tears doth add unto my rage, and makes it hotter when it gins to cool. 'Tis not my pleasure you should suffer death, 'cause I believe 'twould ease your father's griefs. 'Tis not my pleasure you should try your powers, so I should give you honors undeserved, and you perchance might so redeem yourselves. But you shall see our judgments straightly performed. Do execution on them presently. I'll teach your fathers, if they do not know, what 'tis to violate a lawful oath. I'll teach them what it is to play with kings, presuming on their mercy. Come, I say. What? Trifle ye? Delay no more the time, for you must suffer for your father's crime. So what he's saying here is, your pleading is just making me that much more angry. You're going to suffer because of your fathers. I don't want you to die in this scenario, because that's the easy way out, and that's going to be kinder to your fathers than if I take your hands and your nose. And I'm not going to let you try to prove yourself on the battlefield so you can win some sort of honor from me. That's not what this is about. This is about humiliating you and teaching your parents, teaching your fathers a lesson about this is what happens when you betray a king. So then he has, in the middle of this, when he's like, do the execution on them presently, he's saying that to Stitch, who, if you remember, is Edricus's half-brother, who has now gotten into Edricus's service. And Stitch comes over, and he's being a little weird about it. He's like, okay, I guess I gotta do this. And meanwhile, first hostage is doing everything that he can to try to avoid getting mutilated. And finally, first hostage is like, well, give me the axe and I'll do it myself. And Stitch is like, okay, here you go. And Canutus is like, you moron, and grabs him before he can give the axe to the first hostage. He's like, you idiot. Don't give him the axe while he still has hands, because then he can kill us. He can hurt us. Cut off his hands first, then give him the axe. At which point Stitch cuts off the hands and then the nose of the first hostage, and then they do the same to the second hostage, and both of them are crying and pleading for their lives, pleading for leniency and mercy and that sort of thing, and Canutus does not grant it. He's like, okay, if you don't quiet down soon, shut your mouths, or I'm gonna cut out your tongues too, because wouldn't that be fun? If that's what has to happen to shut you up, I'll cut out your tongues too. So they close their mouths a little bit, and they are escorted out, maybe to see to their wounds. I mean, I guess he doesn't really want them dead, so whatever, they are escorted off stage, at which point Edricus laughs, because that's who Edricus is. So he laughs, and they're like, what are you laughing at? And he's like, no, this is too good. And then a messenger comes in, and we will dig into what that messenger has to say, because it leads into tomorrow's monologue. So we'll get into that tomorrow. I'll see you then. Mwah.